Hey guys, my name is Jesper Nissen, and in this video I'm going to talk about does schema improve Google rankings. So this video is based on a test I did in December 2023, so 13 months ago. And at that time I had just launched Schema Writer, and I wrote some text about webpage schema and automated webpage schema because that's what we did with Schema Writer at that point. Now we also do article schema and a lot of other stuff that I'm going to show you. But at that time, when at the launch, we almost only did the web page schema. So I wanted to see with a simple test if schema could actually improve Google rankings. So I made the test back then, and within 5 days I jumped from position 8 to first position 2 and then to position 1, but it was only in 5 days. And at that point the Schema Writer website only had a domain authority of 3. So now I have a domain authority of 22 for this domain, but at that point I didn't have time to build that many links. So I think it was a very interesting test, and so I want to explain to you how I achieved that ranking improvement in only 5 days. I actually want to check also at the end of the video if I'm still ranking number 1. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to walk you through my entire process, and it's going to take 10 to 15 minutes. So yeah, just grab a cup of coffee. Let's get started. So the process is as follows. The requirement to do this is, of course, that you have a web page that's ranking already, but not as high as you wanted to rank. So in my case, the search term I wanted to rank for was automated web page schema. That's the keyword that I wanted to rank for. And I was at position 8 in the beginning. So that's the first step. So the next step is to create the web page and or the article schema. So it's of course up to you and your SEO knowledge if you want to do both, but I have always preferred to create the web page schema, and then at a later time when I advanced, I also added the article schema, because the article schema is a part of the web page. So it just seems logical to create both for pages like the ones that I'm targeting anyway. Step 3 is I should say that step 2, I am creating my web page and article schema reports inside of Schema Writer, because that's obvious, the tool that I created. But you can write this in hand or use other tools. And if you decide to write it in hand, just be prepared that it is just time consuming. I know that Clint Butler has a schema tool, Simon Cornelius has a schema tool, and there are other schema tools out there. I'm just obviously using Schema Writer since that's my invention. So the advantage of using Schema Writer is that I scrape the top results, and then I identify the entities that your website has or your web page has, and also that the top 10 competition has. So you can combine your own little set of entities with the entities that you don't have from the competition, the so-called entity gap. Anyway, so Schema Writer puts all of these entities that it finds into the web page schema, and then you can, in step 3, remove the unwanted entities. That's what I do, and add any additional entities that seems to be related. Step number 4, almost the most important thing, is to validate the schema. So if you're using a tool like Schema Writer, the validation part shouldn't be actually a worry, because it's auto-generated, so everything should be fine. But I mean, you never know, and especially if you're writing this web page schema and article schema in hand, it's I mean, I could use a day, 2 days to write a web page schema when I did this in hand, you know, especially finding the entities, Wikipedia URLs and all that. All that's just super duper time consuming. So anyway, validation, and step number 5, inserting the schema and the FAQ content into the page. So the reason that I mention this is because as a part of the Schema Writer report, it actually produces the FAQ, the frequently asked questions content automated. So it scrapes, because we do scrape your web page. That's the target URL that you want to improve. We do scrape your web page, and then we also produce these questions. So we have a prompt that we engineered. So we're asking ChatGPT, but OpenAI API. Through that, we're sending your content as a background, and then we're generating the questions, so they're related, topically related to your page. And the reason we do this is because we can then grab some entities from the entity gap and put into your content. So yeah, and then we write the FAQ schema also based on these questions. I'm going to show you what I mean. And the last step is, or the second to the last step, is to inspect the page in Google Search Console. And step number 7 is just sit back and wait. And in December 23, it took 5 days. How long does it take now? Who knows? I mean, I just created this blog post 2 days ago, and it's, I don't know, it's not ranking. So this is my LinkedIn post about the schema. So my own website is being outranked by LinkedIn, but I mean, that's not a big surprise for those of you that are using LinkedIn to write articles. So what I did, let me just touch on this. What I did was I created this blog post. So that's the original blog post, right? And then I rewrote all of the content using ChatGPT, of course, and produced a LinkedIn Pulse article. So this LinkedIn Pulse article is based on the other article that I wrote, but obviously I had to use some time to humanize it, so I did that in hand. And I did that because I know that LinkedIn articles, they rank extremely high in Google just out of the box without links. And this is, I mean, the question, does schema improve Google rankings, is a question that we all ask. And every SEO expert out there, they ask this. So you have guys like me, of course, and Cliff Butler and Terry Samuels and Rob Beal and Simon Cornelius and Andrew Ainsley and all of these other guys that also talk about schema. We all like to think that schema is a ranking factor, and but there are not many public studies out there that talk about it actually. But anyway, so yeah, so you can read this article if you want to use a couple of minutes of doing that. But let's get back to work. So let's get started. Yeah, let me just show you my process. So I am inside of Schema Writer, and I click Generate New, and my target keyword is automated. Webpage schema, and my company is Schema Writer. And my URL is that's the homepage. So the reason that I can actually select these URLs is because I imported the sitemap in the company information in Schema Writer. I'm not going to show you that now, it's not relevant. I will use the target country to be United States. Generate. So now Schema Writer is scraping the SERPs for these keywords. And it's scraping the top 10 competition sites. So of course it's scraping the target URL, which is the homepage of Schema Writer, and then it's scraping the top 10. So what it's doing is it's searching like this. And then it's clicking on all these top 10 sites down there. And let's go back again. And we are using a service called SERP API to do this. So and we have not been affected yet by the things that Google implemented last week, because last week Google implemented the requirement that you're using JavaScript to browse Google, because they want to declare war against scrapers. They want to make it either they want to declare war against scrapers, or they want to, boost their own AI overviews. Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, now it's scraping. So let me just click pause so we can return when it's done. So now it's done. and this report generation takes around 2 minutes. So let's click view. So the first step was to create the web page, and that's basically done now. So now the next step is to remove the unwanted entities. Of course, if you're writing the schema code in hand, this is not needed, because I mean then you are basically only adding the entities that you want. So inside of schema writer, I want to have the person schema, I want to have the article schema. I do not want the aggregate rating product schema. The product schema or the aggregate rating schema gives you these orange stars in the SERPs, but it's a little bit, it's against Google's guidelines, so I only use it for actual products. So web page schema. Inside of the web page schema, in about and mentions, I will remove unwanted entities, and let's see here. Web scraping, sitemaps, adjust schema evolution, monitored. It is relevant, but no Google APIs. Yeah, I don't know. It seems good actually, and search engine schema URL. It also seems good. So I'll just keep it. So I just want to show that we have this entity editor. So, and this is very interesting because in the left side we have the on-page entities. So that's the entities that I identified using schema writer, and you can see there are a lot of entities here. And here we have the competition, and here we have the so-called entity gap. So, for example, dynamic web page is in one of the top competition sites. The entity dynamic web page has appeared, and since it's not in the schema writer entities, we put it here in the entity gap. So it's related, but it's not what you have. You don't have it. So we used to sort these entities by using TextRaiser, but we just recently implemented machine learning to sort these. So we convert the content on your target page, we convert to so-called embeddings, and then we convert all the entities also to embeddings, and then we can find the cosine similarity and sort them by that. And instead of using the built-in TextRaiser relevance score or whatever they call it, it turns out that this way of sorting is just so much better. So I'm just pleased with it. And that's also why right now the pruning process is very easy and fast, because they all seem to be extremely related. So when it comes to how many entities and how many keywords you should add in the about and mention section, that's of course 100% up to you and your SEO knowledge and expertise. So schema writer is, as many other SEO tools, it's a data collection platform. And then I used my SEO expertise, my SEO experience I wrote all of these schema templates in hand, and then I built the system around my handwritten schema templates. But the data that we collect, you do need to take a look, inspect it. Does it make sense? Does it make sense to have the IETF language tag? Actually, it doesn't. Or I don't know. Abbreviated language code listing in format maintained by the internet. Let me just remove it. Stuff like that. So click save. Always click save, whatever you're doing. Anyway, so that's the end of. Let me see here. That's the end of this guy here. Validate schema. So what I can do is I can copy this and I can go over to schema.org. Click validate. Code snippets, paste, and run test. And no errors, and so that's good. So that's actually very nice that I don't have any errors. So what you will notice is that inside of schema writer I have the organization schema, local business, web page, FAQ, article, and person schema. And the reason that I only have one type of schema here, and that's the article schema, is because I'm using something called the add ID. So in schema.org, over here to the left side, you can see this is all of the schema code, right? And you can see these add IDs and add ID and add ID. No, not that one, but you can see these add IDs. So up here I have the organization schema, and I've chosen that to be an online business for Schema Writer, and it has this add ID. And then the sub-organization is the local business. And if I scroll down, and here is the local business schema, and you can see the add IDs here. So that's the local business schema. This is the way that I interlink the organization and the local business schema with the add IDs. So sub-organization and parent organization. Same thing with article schema and person schema. Everything is interlinked using these clever tricks with the add ID. So let's see, where is it? Yeah. So main entity of page. That's just because I'm saying to schema.org and to Google and all the other crawlers that the article is the main entity of this page. And when you insert this, the schema will be automatically interlinked. Or it's not automatic. Yeah, it is automatically interlinked. So let's just, yeah. So no more talk about this. So the next step is inserting the schema and FAQ content into the page. And let me just show you a couple of, or let me just share a couple of observations with this. So when we are running reports in Schema Writer, we do create these questions here. And so this is the text that has been auto-generated. What is web page schema? Why is it important for WordPress sites? And so this was the content that's generated. So we are feeding your target URL, the content from your website, into OpenAI, and then we are asking it to generate topically relevant questions that are related to your website or web page, and we are also asking it to include the entities that we identify. And I'm using the header footer code manager plugin HFCM. That's what I use to insert schema. And so then inspect. I'm not going to show you that. You know how to do that. So let me just get to the results. I am in Firefox and I'm incognito. Oops. And yeah, so I'm not number one anymore because we have these videos. But anyway, I am number one here with the target URL that I optimized at that point. And number two here, at least when I'm searching from Denmark, I have these two positions. I think that when I'm searching from the United States, I'm not number one. I'm either number two or number three, but I am still in the top 1, 2, 3. It fluctuates. So I think this is interesting because that explains to me that it was not just a temporary boost that I got from inserting this schema and the entity optimized. Let me just click on this guy here. So it wasn't just a temporary boost that I got from inserting the web page schema and the questions. It was I mean, it's more than a year ago, so it wasn't temporary. So these questions are unedited AI content. What is an automated web page schema in the context of software? So it's probably not the best content, but I mean, I just want to see how can I, what will happen if I insert this web page schema? What will happen if I insert these questions that also belongs to the schema? And how fast can I do it? And I spent a total of 30 minutes doing this schema optimization. So yeah, there you have it, guys. That's the video for today. I hope you liked it. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.